Welcome to the Conversation Cold Ones podcast. I'm your host, Damien, and my co-host, Jared. And it
Hello.
is that time of year. It is our Game Awards show. But before we start, Jared, would you like to take us into the brewskis of the week?
Why, yes, I would. I've got of course, going back with it, a Mike's Hard lemonade, except I've got the hard pineapple strawberry, which I got from the party variety pack, whatever the hell they're called. And I don't remember getting this one before. I normally get like the orange one or whatever. And this was new, and I tried it, and it's fucking delicious. So I'm a little bit annoyed because now I've got a second flavor of Mike's that I'm obsessed with. But what do you have, my friend?
I am drinking a Mike's Hard Lemonade as well, just a normal flavor. It
Mhm.
is on the opposite side of my desk, away from anything, because of last week.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess I'll just hold mine all week since now I'm paranoid because of you.
Right. So just remember, starting in January, our first episode, we'll have face cams on. Hopefully, I fucking paid for extra ship or faster shipping on my webcam, and it's
Mhm.
delayed right now. It was
Ooh.
supposed to be here yesterday. It hasn't even left Georgia where it's at today.
I'm I'm no offense, but I wouldn't be upset if it took longer to get here because I don't have a good background yet
Oh, you're
at
good.
all.
My background's going to change very dramatically on the podcast quick because I'm
Good.
switching rooms. And then I'm also getting posters and shit like that to go into the back.
If you want to talk about dramatic, if my basement still looks the way it does right now, like when we're doing this, it's gonna be there's gonna be a dramatic ass change in my background too.
Right. Alrighty, well,
Yeah.
let's get into this. Remember, you can comment down below or send us on Twitter your
Yep.
winners. This is just our winners, so obviously take it with a grain of salt. But this is obviously a better list than the Game Awards because Last of Us 2 did not deserve Game of the Year.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so our first one is Best Debut Game. So first game for a publisher, we have Phasmophobia, Mortal Shell, Among Us, and Fall Guys. And our winner is Phasmophobia because it's a unique game that's not really been replicated before. So you don't
Yeah.
get unique games often. So you got to reward them when you can.
I feel like that one's almost a bit of a landslide.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I
just
think Among Us would be number two.
yeah, Among Us and Fall Guys, I feel like right there in 2 and 3, and then Mortal Shell, eh.
Fall Guys could have won if it didn't die so fast.
Yeah, it fucking flopped.
Yeah, it's bad.
Anyhoozle, on to our best multiplayer. We had Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We had Fall Guys, Among Us, Phasmophobia, Valorant, Minecraft Dungeons, and Rogue Company. And the winner taking best multiplayer is Rogue Company, which we ended up giving because it's something new we got into. Just it felt a lot better as a multiplayer than a lot of other games we've played this year. And obviously, we included a few from the other category, and we weren't going to try to give Phasmophobia 2 wins in a row. So
Right. Yep. Yeah, I think Call of Duty would be number two, then probably
yeah,
Phaz, then Among Us.
COD, yeah, COD, Phas, Among Us. I feel like Valorant could fit in there pretty good.
Yeah.
But I personally, I think Valorant is not good when you
Yeah.
compare it to the father games or the games that it's kind of based off of.
Yeah, like CSGO. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, Rogue Company definitely took the win there.
Yeah,
Very fun game.
it's
Hopefully, we get back
free.
into that.
You can play it.
Yeah,
I think it's on console now as well, so you can play it there.
that's
It's really
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, we need to get back into that at some point.
Oh yeah. Best sports or racing game. We have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered, Dirt 5, FIFA 21, and Madden 21. And
Mhm.
the winner for best sports or racing game is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered.
Yep.
I have it. I played it a little bit. I've been waiting
I
for the
have not.
private games, which I already put in the game like a month or two ago. So I need to go back and play it. It's really fun
Yeah.
though to play those Tony Hawk games. There's something about them. I'm not as skilled as some of these people I see on like fucking Twitter or TikTok where they're doing like 60 million point combos and shit like that. I can crank out a million or two and then I'm done.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Tony Hawk. It's a great remaster.
And we definitely weren't giving FIFA a win in there. So
Oh
he
no,
knew that was
FIFA we
last
just had to
every
put
day.
in there
Yeah.
so we had four.
Yeah. That was fourth every day of the week.
Yeah. Yep.
Anywho, we're on to best strategy or sim game. And our nominees there were Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, or Crusader Kings 3. And the winner for best strategy or sim game ended up being Gears Tactics. I don't want to say by a landslide for this one, but after the release for Microsoft Flight Simulator, it was it was pretty easy to pick a strategy slash sim game because Flight Simulator
You just
came
can't
out pretty
run.
rough. Yeah, it's hard to run. I mean, like first of all, you have to put time into it and know the other games, but like we had a hard time getting it to load even for the first week. Just wasn't a good experience. And Crusader Kings, I personally have never been a fan of. I don't know what Damien feels about that, but yeah,
Yeah, Gears Tactics. I actually watch a lot of people play, and it's really fun. Gears of
I
War
still
works
want to.
well in it.
I still want to beat that game. It's so good. I just keep forgetting about it.
Very good game. Moving
Oh,
on, we have
absolutely.
best family slash kid game. So we have Animal Crossing, Fall Guys, Among Us, Minecraft Dungeons, and then finally Paper Mario: The Origami King. And for us, the best family slash kid game is Animal Crossing. I think you have to give it to Animal Crossing with it probably being like the second or third most popular game this year. I mean,
Oh,
if you
for
remember
sure.
when like COVID and the fucking outbreak started, I remember seeing Animal Crossing everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was playing
The
it.
the memes of like Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, like Isabel and Doomslayer, like and then all the people talking about like how Animal Crossing was getting them through those like rough few like the starting weeks of the quarantine. Like it was a huge game. Definitely family and kid friendly. And
Yeah,
honestly, even like older people friendly. Like I saw tweets and stuff of like older individuals playing it, like some older ladies in their I think it was like their like 80s. They were loving this game. So
yeah.
it's definitely a family slash good game.
And the
Very good game.
Tom Nook memes are very good too.
Oh my god, so good. So we're on to best role playing game or RPG. Our nominees there were Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Final Fantasy VII Remastered, Wasteland 3. I always thought that was Wastelanders. My bad there. And Immortals: Phoenix Rising. And the winner for best role playing game is Cyberpunk 2077. And as much as I have talked about on this show how Cyberpunk has not been a great game to me, like the release was really rough. When you compare it to the things that came out this year that are classified as RPGs, you got to give it to Cyberpunk because at the end of the day, no matter how buggy your release, CD Projekt Red is gonna make us a good game, and it is a damn good game. So that had to go to Cyberpunk there pretty much no
Yeah.
matter what.
I mean, I think when you come down to like how many choices you have, building your character,
Oh
how many
yeah.
different perk trees there are, like it is a lot.
Yeah,
And I,
that's you make a good point about the perk trees. I've been playing that and I like forget that I can switch tabs in different perks. I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh my god, like there's so much." I'm like,
there's
"I'm
like
never going to
16
do
pages
all
of
of it."
perks. It's
Yeah,
fucking
it's fucking
nuts.
insane. Yeah. Great game though.
Oh yeah. So we're moving on to best action game, and the nominees for best action game are Spider-Man: Miles Morales,
Nice.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Ghost of Tsushima, and finally Doom Eternal. And our winner for best action game is Doom Eternal, which I mean,
Oh yeah, brother.
it's so. I mean, I beat Doom Eternal. I don't know if I don't think I recorded it for the channel at the time.
You were gonna. I remember you recording it and you couldn't and you started streaming it to me
Yeah,
cuz I didn't want to buy the game. It
yeah. Uh,
was great to watch.
Doom
Loved it.
Eternal doesn't fit that niche for me. Like, I don't think I'm gonna play Doom 3. Um,
Really?
yeah, but I will say, like, when you're looking at it, like, just based off the action, like, how many guns you get, how many fucking, like, how smooth it feels. You know, you jump up, you grapple to an enemy, you blast him with a shotgun, you can bounce off of him, fucking grab onto a pole, swing up, pull out your BFG, kill a fucking main boss guy, then bring out your fucking fusion cannon and keep going. Like, it definitely builds over time, and, like, you can get really, like, smooth with that game. Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, it's a good game. I just didn't care for it, but action wise, like it's definitely like the best like mechanic action game we've gotten in a while.
Oh, for sure. And here's what I'll say about Doom. I didn't play Eternal. And the reason I didn't pay for it and buy it is because I wanted to finish Doom 2016 first. The problem with that is I was playing on an Xbox and I was almost finished it, like I was almost done with it, and then I went and got in PC and I just haven't gone back and finished it yet. So I haven't played it, but I watched you play a lot of it, and it looks so fucking good. Like, I'm gonna play the next Doom. Like, I'm definitely getting it. Uh, that's how much of a good game I thought it was. But anyway, we're on to best VR game here, and our nominees were Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, and Half-Life Alyx. And the winner of the best VR game this year for us was Half-Life Alyx, which, as much as I love Star Wars Squadrons, it was very, very, very obvious who the VR winner here was, and that's Half Life. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Half Life game. You just can't. But I think that the way they introduced a lot of the mechanics with the VR into this game was it was very, very nice. I don't know. Have you played it yet? I know you got a VR headset.
No.
Okay. I mean, if I had one, I would. I mean, it was damn. It was a damn good looking game.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Half-Life Alyx, like I watch people play it, and like for a VR game, it's gonna be so influential because it did so many things and like pushed VR to like a new realm.
Mhm.
And I think if you just looked on influence and the impact it's gonna create, like for VR games, it wins. But also the game's just really fucking good. I'm sure we'll get more. Like a Portal VR game and shit from Valve.
Oh,
They did a really good
that
job.
would be
That'd
sexy.
be nuts. So moving on, we have best community support. So obviously, this is for developers who keep their communities in on the know, update it frequently, give good updates. We have Destiny 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Fall Guys, Fortnite, which I played today, and Valorant.
What?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. So best community support goes to Destiny 2. I mean, they do weekly updates for everyone. I mean, they're pretty open with a lot of things. Their DLCs have been a little rough. Obviously, since like they don't have the help of like Activision parent companies working on the game with them. But I think
Yeah.
overall, like I think number 2 goes to Treyarch. They're on Reddit talking to people all the time and like changing things within hours. But Destiny 2, I
Yeah.
mean, they're the staple. They've been doing it for years.
They set the example.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And even though Destiny 2 is a rough game sometimes, especially with like keeping up with it between the DLCs or even like sometimes just being a bit buggy with new stuff coming out, they do give a shit. I mean, like they do try to fix things. They like I said, weekly updates. But yeah, all the years they've been doing it, they deserve it, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
So we got best ongoing game next year. And the nominees there were Destiny 2, No Man's Sky, Warframe, Fortnite, and Call of Duty Warzone. And our best ongoing game winner was No Man's Sky. And this one I feel like was kind of a rough one to pick from at first. But once we looked into it a little bit more and once we looked into what No Man's Sky had become, I feel like that one became a lot easier to pick because No Man's Sky, personally, I wanted to buy that game when it first came out, and when I went to do so, one of my friends at the time had said, "Don't do that. The game's garbage. Like it's really bad right now," and I didn't. And so all this time, just I've never even looked at it. I haven't paid no attention to it. But I recently looked into the game and it has come far. Like I've seen people talk about where it was compared to what it is, and it's a beautiful game. They've definitely kept it alive by updating it, which as a lot of you would know, Damien, specifically Damien, I'm a little bit less harsh about it, but Damien hates when a game has to be updated to be good. He thinks that a game should be good at release, which I can agree with mostly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, from everything I saw from No Man's Sky, the community loves it. Like the DLCs they've been putting out, or like the big updates, whatever they call them, have been
Yeah.
phenomenal. Destiny 2, I think, would have been second. The only problem is their latest DLC was rough, to say
Mm,
the least. Um,
mhm.
Warframe, I mean, I think you put Warframe over Destiny 2 if you're depending on. I just don't like Warframe. Like I've
Yeah,
tried
I
getting into
also
it,
am
I
not a
just can't
fan.
get into it. I
It
think
goes
then it
too
goes
risky.
Fortnite and then Call of Duty, like Call of Duty finishing
Yeah.
last because Warzone's trash.
Warzone is very rough.
Yes. So moving on, we
Hey,
have go ahead.
before we move on, what's your ringtone?
My ringtone?
Yeah, I was just curious because I thought I heard it go off in the background.
No, my phone's on silent.
Oh, okay. It must have been something in my background. I apologize. You can continue.
Oh, you're good. So best music slash soundtrack for a game, you have Doom Eternal, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then Cyberpunk 2077. We are giving best music to Ori and the Will of the Wisp. A beautiful
Fuck
game.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Beautiful game.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy that, like, I know the game came out and people who played it thought it was amazing, but this game got, like, no marketing.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, and it's a fucking fantastic game.
It absolutely is, and I will say it hadn't. Blah, 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 sorry, it didn't get marketing, and like to the point where I didn't know it came out, and I hadn't played them. But I've watched videos on it, and I know it sounds like, oh, we do a lot of video watching, but the music you hear in that game is so beautiful. It's a good game.
Oh,
No
great
doubt.
game.
Yeah. All right. Next we have the best story, and our nominees there were Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077, Ghosts of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Half-Life Alex. And our winner for best story was Ghosts of Tsushima. And that one is one actually seen very little about. So Damien, I'll have to talk about that one more.
So I watch people beat it. I think I've talked about it on the podcast. I think Ghost of Tsushima is a great storytelling game because, one, you're in feudal Japan and you get to, like, see all these different factions come together. I think the main character's good. I do have gripes with the combat. I think it's a little too easy, but like it's hard to explain. They literally took a samurai movie and put it into a game and gave it a better overall story. The game looks fantastic. The way they tell stories, like the way like side missions are handled in that game, like they kind of evolve over time. Like it's great. No spoilers because the game just came out like what 6 months ago.
Fresh, I'm not even sure.
But yeah, I think so far, like Cyberpunk, Jared hasn't beaten it yet. I think Cyberpunk's a great story, but from what I watched, Ghost of Tsushima is on par, and it wasn't broken when it launched.
Yeah.
So,
You know, I will say, had I been where I am now in Cyberpunk when we did the rankings for this, I would have definitely made more of a fight for Cyberpunk 2077 against Ghosts.
oh yeah, Pan Am.
However, I still think Ghosts is a damn good story. Like I haven't seen much, but I've seen a little bit about the story, and it seems interesting. And to reply what you said there about Pan Am, Damien, that's the only good part about the story is the shit you do out with Pan Am and the fucking Aldecaldos. Otherwise, everything in the city sucks so far, but it's my opinion.
No, the city part's really great. You'll get there.
I better.
So our next category, Jared, would you like to go ahead and go into it?
Yeah, the best game design is our next category. Our nominees there are The Last of Us Part 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima, and Immortals Phoenix Rising. And the winner for the best game design is The Last of Us Part 2. Now, before you get your torches and your pitchforks and come at us, let us just say, or me at least, I don't care what Damien says, I still think overall that The Last of Us Part 2 is a literal burning pile of trash. However, well, yes. However, when it comes to their game design, when it comes to the way the world looks, when it comes to how the game feels in certain senses, it is a very good design. And it pains me to say that because such a shit story and such a shit narrative, having such a beautiful picture, like having it's like smelling shit, but it's the best looking shit you've ever seen. It's like, oh, like I have to hate this, but look how pretty it is.
It's just like the right amount of creaminess.
Yes,
it's perfect.
I guess.
Yeah,
but the point here is, if it, I cannot stand The Last of Us because of part two. I'm sorry, part two. Can't stand The Last of Us Part 2 because of the story. It's arguably okay until, spoiler alert, Joel dies. After that, it's like, this is kind of stupid, but it looks good throughout. So that's something. So that's why we gave him the win here, because it looks damn good.
Right. I would also just, like, as a quick, like, breaking news kind of thing, the KFC console is a real thing. So KFC, the food place, they're making a console, and it's real.
What?
It's basically a pre-built PC, but Uh, it's called the KF console.
Oh.
It has a built-in chicken warmer, and it plays games at 4K, 240 frames per second.
What?
Yeah.
How much?
Don't know yet, but yes. So it's a thing. It's happening.
That's insane.
So, anyways, moving on. We have. I would like to actually. So, Last of Us Part 2, like we've trashed on the story and everything. But when it comes to like Naughty Dog's like character animations, the animations with guns, like how the world flows together, I think are really great and top tier. I do have issues with how they make missions and how Sony just makes third-person games all the fucking time. But this third-person game has great animations, like great ways to tell a story, even though the story's trash. So yeah, you got to give it there. So moving on, we have Best Gaming World. We have Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Half-Life Alyx. And our winner for Best Gaming World is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, you know, me being a huge Blade Runner fan, it was gonna go to this. Just because, like, when you're in the city and you're in, like, Chinatown or something like that, like, it's just Blade Runner vibes through the constant. I think number 2 is probably Half-Life or Ghost. Valhalla is probably 4th, and then Final Fantasy VII being last.
I agree with that.
The only reason why Valhalla couldn't win is just, like, there's a lot of parts of that map that are absolutely god-awful. And Cyberpunk, like, I usually hate desert parts of the map, like GTA 5. I hate going out there. I think it looks ugly. And I know it's like kind of intended that way. But with Cyberpunk, the best parts of the game are out in the desert. The city's fantastic, and overall, it's just a great gaming world. And the world that they built inside of it, you know, having those cybernetic, cyber psychos, the cybernetics, how the guns work. It's a world I would want to live in. And so we talked about this, like, if I could like go into any video game personally, live in that world, I would live in Cyberpunk 2077.
Especially if I can meet Pan Am.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm gonna add on to what you just said about the Cyberpunk 2077 world. I agree with just about everything you said there about it being a good world. The only thing I have to knock about Cyberpunk here is the fact that if you are driving through the city, if you're like going one place to another, you have to stop in that area you're going to, or wherever you're at. You have to stop moving and stand still or move very like slowly for a minute, like if you get out of your car or something. And then the world starts to fill in and feel lived in. But if you're driving around, you get like no people on the sidewalks, you get hardly any cars. But if you like go into a building and come out, as soon as you come out, there's like cars are packed in the streets. It's like bumper to bumper. There are dozens and dozens of people on the sidewalks. Like you can hear gunshots in the distance. You have cops across the street doing something. But like if you're driving through, you don't get that full immersion. So I just want to say, maybe it's because I'm not running it at the highest settings. Maybe it's because it is still a newer game, but I haven't gotten that full immersion when I'm driving place to place. It's only when I've slowed down for a second where I get that deep, like there's people everywhere and you're actually getting like a good immersion. Because when I am standing still, I hear like 5 different conversations at once. Obviously not the same like volume. It's like someone right next to me, then there's someone in the background if you listen real carefully. And it is amazing in those scenarios. But if you're zipping around, it's like, oh, I'm missing some of that stuff.
It is funny, like, and I don't know why it works like this. So when I play Cyberpunk, I have like my NZXT cam open so I can see what the temperatures are and everything for my GPU and CPU. And when it comes to Cyberpunk, I don't know why this happens, but when I play with ray tracing on and everything at high or ultra, my PC runs cool. But when I was playing without ray tracing on and everything at like medium, my PC was running hotter for whatever reason. I don't know why it does that, but that's a problem. But yes, like what Jared was saying, like if Cyberpunk was a completely perfect game, I want to live in that world.
If I end up making this new PC this upcoming year, like I've been talking about, like we've been talking, I might have to try Cyberpunk on it and see if it runs better. Like put all those settings on max because I'm curious to see if it'll run cooler. Because for me, when I play it, really weird. Some situations, some places I'm in, my GPU goes up to like 170-ish degrees and the load's at like 95%. But then there are times where it drops down like 40% load and it's like, 130, 140, and it's really strange how it fluctuates. I don't know what it is, but like you said, it's just strange shit with that game.
Yep. Jared, would you like to take us into the next one?
I shall. So next, we're going to talk about the biggest downgrade.
Our first bad
And
award of the night.
yes, our first bad award. And to explain, this category is for a game that was super good and that either died or has lacked inconsistent quality updates, or just losing that consistency and quality. So our nominees are Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warzone, Call of Duty, and Red Dead Redemption 2 Online. And the winner, or I guess more appropriately, loser in this scenario, is Fortnite. And I think that Damien and I pretty much both solidly agree that Fortnite was good for some of its earliest seasons. And as it went on, yeah, some of the story was cool. But otherwise, it was very similar to Last of Us Part 2, and it just kind of became a dumpster fire. Just not very good. Yeah, they consistently update it, but that doesn't mean it was good quality. You can update something every single day and it can still be shit. And I think that's proven with Fortnite. That being said, I know that one of the arguments we made, what like for a runner-up to being the biggest downgrade, would have been Red Dead Redemption 2 Online. However, I made the argument that you can't have a lack of good quality when they don't update it at all. So that's the reason we kind of gave it to Fortnite instead of Red Dead 2 Online, because I know a lot of people are disappointed with Red Dead Online. But they don't update it, so there's no consistency at all. So that was a little bit of the argument there.
I would like to say one thing though.
Oh,
me and David played Fortnite today, and I enjoyed myself.
And you've tainted your mind. Don't talk.
We're
gonna go into the next.
I would give Apex Legends second place, and it's very close because I've also played Apex Legends today, and that game is trash.
That's fair.
Yes,
Apex was good at when it launched, and I feel like it just went downhill
after like 2 days. It was garbage.
I mean, I liked playing Apex, even like a little while into, a couple weeks, months into it. I was liking Apex, but it just fucking fell off. I just don't care about it anymore. Fortnite I played longer, which is sad for me to say out loud. I kind of want to just slit my wrist saying that sentence. But
Indeed, we're doing good. Like we never left.
Yeah, well, that's because it's easy to be good at a trash game. But anyway,
fair.
Why don't you read the next one for us here?
Best new gen console. So we have the Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S. I would like to say something before I announce the winner. This doesn't include games made for your console. This is just best overall built console.
Yep.
We're gonna give that to the Xbox One Series X as our winner. You get the most powerful console to have ever been made. It's smaller than the PS5, and since I work at a gaming store, I get to hear about all the issues that people have, and I've heard more issues with the PlayStation 5. Now, PlayStation 5 has the edge in the controller department for me. After holding one and getting to like mess around with it, the triggers, the adaptive feedback and stuff like that, and just overall the shape, it's really good. It's not better than like the Xbox Elite controller or anything like that, but when it comes to improvements and like it feeling like next gen, that controller makes me feel like I'm playing on a next gen console. It's fucking crazy.
That's fair.
But yeah, our winner's Xbox One Series X.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Well, our next category is the best console launch exclusive. And our nominees there were Crash Bandicoot 4, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, The Astro's Playroom, and Demon Souls. And the winner for the best console launch exclusive was Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yep. It was about 8 to 10 hours long, I believe. Beat it, but you get great. I mean, you get to swing around the city again. I want to play that game so bad.
Yeah.
So our final like bad award of the night. Really, it's only like we're just giving it to one game. It's The Last of Us Part 2 is our biggest disappointment. This game should have been I mean, coming off of the first Last of Us game, like that was a great story to be told.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
coming
for
into this,
sure.
they could have like expanded on it so much further and gave us something that was good. But
Yeah,
they didn't.
they
They
didn't.
gave us
Yep,
one of the worst stories, and they fumbled the bag harder than I've ever seen on anything.
yep.
It's that time. Jared, would you like to read the first 5 nominations for our game of the year?
I'll just read them all.
Nope, you'll read the
Uh,
first 5.
so our Game of the Year nominations are Teardown, Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man's Miles Morales,
And then we have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII, Animal Crossing, Half-Life, and Death Stranding on PC. I would like to
and
say,
our
hold on, hold your little horses. I'd like to say we gave a lot of nominations for this one because a lot of these games did something good that maybe some of the other games didn't do. Um,
absolutely
Especially when it comes to like Teardown being made by like 1 or 2 people and it being super good. Cyberpunk for the world building, Assassin's Creed for being a good Assassin's Creed for once.
Ghost of
Um,
Tsushima for just being a dope ass game.
yeah, Spider-Man for being the second best Spider-Man game. Doom for the
Doom for the
action, like we
action.
talked about.
Fuck
Final
yeah.
Fantasy for being probably the best remake of the year. Animal
Animal
Crossing for how
Crossing. Yep.
important it was. We talked about Half-Life earlier, and then Death Stranding is the best story game I've played this year.
I mean, it's a little bit generous, I think, but
But let's announce our winner for Game of the Year for 2020,
so
Jared.
our game of the year for the pandemic year, we've got Cyberpunk 2077 as our winner for game of the year.
Yep. I mean
So
it's lived up. Well, it's
do
lived up
with
to
that
some of the hype.
information what you will, I guess. No.
Yeah. It's lived up to some of the hype. I think a lot of people gave too many expectations for it. I think a lot of the criticism it's getting is fair, but also a lot of the criticism it's getting is also not fair.
Agreed.
You know, I'll say this. We were all sitting here complaining about how many times it was getting delayed, and we just said, just release the game. And you know what they did? They just released the game. And
It is.
people are mad about it, and it's, you can't,
Have you seen?
good.
I was gonna say, have you seen the meme from SpongeBob where it's the one dad is driving his kid, and the kid's like, "But I don't even like pistachio ice cream," and the
Yeah.
dad's like, "Well, why did you even ask for it?"
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of templates of that meme with, "But I don't like the glitches and the bugs. Why'd you release it early?" And it's like CD Projekt Red, like, "Well, why did you ask for it then?"
Yep.
And I feel like that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, the game definitely needed another year. Um,
Yeah, at eighth.
well, and I think it could have been fine in 6 months. I didn't
Well,
have that many glitches, like for me
yeah, some people
personally.
got lucky, bastard.
And but what I played, it's the best game I've played since The Witcher, hands down.
Yeah.
Um,
Excuse me. Holy shit, that came out of nowhere.
I
Sorry.
think I talked about this on the podcast last week. It's no Witcher 3.
Oh fuck no. And I think it's not fair to compare The Witcher
Yeah, I mean The Witcher
to
being the greatest game
Cyberpunk.
of all time. It's kind of hard to
Exactly.
live up to
Absolutely
that.
unfair. Yeah.
But
No, not fair in any way. But I will say, it Cyberpunk, from where I've got, like, starting where I first talked about it to where I am now, I definitely think I think more of it. I think it's better. And I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite here. So anyone who doesn't like that, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not really. So go fuck yourself. But a lot of people, and I mean a fucking ton of people, have been bitching about the glitches and how this game wasn't ready and how it absolutely shouldn't have been released yet. And to all those people, I was like, you know what? I kind of agree with it. But then I looked at it and I've played it and it's like, you know what? Yeah, it's got glitches, but if you're willing to not like freak out and just like lose your shit, if you could sit there and think about it for a minute and maybe have a little bit of rage, but just like, be an adult and get over it after a minute or two and go, all right, what can I do to fix this? What can I Google? What are the problem solving things I can do and try to get through it? If you just give it a minute, it's playable. And I've seen a ton of people compare it to playing Elder Scrolls, playing Fallout. Like, yeah, those games are the glitchiest fucking games you'll ever experience, but those are like fan favorites, like throughout all consoles, like through all
I mean, when you play
generations.
a Elder Scrolls game, you want the glitches. Those make the
Exactly.
game.
it makes the game. So yes, this may not glitches may not make Cyberpunk 2077, and some of them, in a lot of ways, can be game breaking. I will say there was a pivotal story moment that I won't go into any detail about, but in the early parts of it, there was music playing, like loud music, and I didn't realize it until I finished the mission. That music was supposed to end after like 15 seconds, and it played for like 30-ish minutes of story. And I was like, this is a really weird way to have action and fun music. And I was sitting there in the open world after all the like driven story stuff going, oh, it's broken. And I
Yeah.
had to just reset my game. And like that, I played it off in my head as this is cool instead of, oh shit, it's been broken this whole time, which I should have learned when there was some quiet talking, but I didn't think anything of it. You just got to live with the fact that if you want to play a game, if you want to have fun, make it fun. Don't let things get you down if it's something that you can, first of all, get through, but also if it's something that you can fix.
Right.
So many people are complaining, and I think it's unnecessary because people are complaining about the stupidest, littlest shit, and it's like, get over it, crybaby. But at the same time, there are some bugs people are like, I can't play this, and I feel bad because
Yeah.
I wish it was a little bit more polished, but it isn't so bad. It's not as bad as so many people are making it out to be. I guess is
Well,
what I'm
and
trying to
I
say.
think one thing we gotta, they delayed this game a year before COVID was a thing.
Yeah,
And so they had to develop this game in COVID, and then also
yeah,
have the issues of people weighing down on them saying release if they delayed the game again, they were gonna get like a ton of shit for it.
this is
And
fair.
I think when you look at it like that angle, you give them a pass for some things. Not a lot of things, like it's very buggy. Like yeah,
Mhm.
in 6 months this game's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine,
Oh well, maybe let's
hopefully.
not give them that much credit.
But when you break it down, I mean, the story that is being told, I mean, there was some missions, man, where like it fucked me up. Like
Yeah,
I haven't connected with a game like that since The Witcher 3 and like Death Stranding and Red Dead 2. Those are probably like the four games of this generation that like,
oh yeah,
did that. And, you know, but I just think I'm more into the world than Red Dead and Death Stranding.
yeah.
I think the characters that they introduced, like Pan Am, which hopefully you're at, or Judy and some even the other smaller characters, like, are great. They're fantastic. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
missing some polish, but people don't rush Rockstar for their games. Like
and
they,
those turn out to be pretty
yeah,
shit usually.
yeah, and they're polished because they spend years polishing the game. CD Projekt Red didn't have years to polish the game. They had a year to polish the game, and everyone got COVID. So you got to give them
Yeah,
a little
and
bit
it
of a
was hard
pass.
to do it.
But
Yeah,
it's definitely the best game of this year. It's the second best game of this generation, hands down.
yeah. I would I would agree with that. And I would like to say, like, in terms of characters and like roping you in, I can agree that a lot of these characters are pulling me in better than other gaming worlds, like, especially Red Dead. That one has pulled me in so much. I am a major fan of Red Dead, obviously, but Cyberpunk has pulled me in with characters that I didn't know were important, like getting away from some of those main characters. Have you done anything with River,
Yeah,
the detective? His little side mission string and his character has pulled me in to a character that I didn't know I cared about. My first mission with him, I was like, I don't like you, and then the second string I'm in right now, I don't know how many more there are, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this character is like, there's so much more to him, and it's so crazy that someone can introduce a character, make him seem like cannon fodder, but then turn around and be like, here's all this backstory, and it's like,
right.
what the
And
fuck?
that's
That's like with Judy and Pan Am, like,
yeah,
not giving anything away. Judy, you like know is like this like tech girl, and then you have a mission where it's just like, here's all of this. It's like, fuck, like I had like goosebumps sitting there, like just like I know it's slow, it's not like actiony, but it's like just goosebumps. And then with Pan Am, like getting to learn her backstory through the missions, it made me want, like I told you this, Damien, off of the off screen, whatever you want to call it. If I could play a game with just Pan Am and the Aldecaldos in the desert, like all in this engine, I would pay double what I paid for Cyberpunk to have that game because of how much I love the character development, not of just Pan Am, but all the major Aldecaldos you talk to. I love that. And that's crazy that a game can pull me into these characters so much that I would be willing to spend more money to play with just them. Like if we get a DLC of the Aldecaldos and shit, I'll cream. I'll say it.
right.
I'll just everywhere. It's so good. It's insane.
And the endings that they give, which I won't spoil, obviously, like they do like show you what's next
Yeah.
and everything
Oh,
that's going
that'll
on.
be good.
But when you look at it, and because I saw a lot of people comparing this to Red Dead 2, and obviously, like, you give Red Dead 2 the polishing, and like, there's just so much detail in that game; it's unfathomable. But the one thing you can't give Red Dead is a lot of their side characters do lack, because you don't have these long side missions of just learning about the character. Like Judy, you do like, I mean, I think it's like 15 missions with her. And
it's a lot.
yeah, as like you're doing those missions, you're learning. You're actually like, you think they're real people.
Yep.
And I think with Red Dead 2, and not to like criticize Red Dead 2, but just to compare them real quick, because I know people are, with a lot of those like just side characters in the world, you do a mission for them and then you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you really only focus on the people in the camp. With this game, you focus on, with Cyberpunk, you focus on so many people and realize that like there's so many important people and people with good stories that aren't just in your camp.
Oh yeah.
And what I love about CD Projekt Red is they take risks. One of the like, well, I can't really spoil it, but a big name character like, you know, that you think to be a huge deal ends up not turning out that way, and like there's huge twists and stuff like that. It's fantastic. The story, the choices, it's everything I wanted the game to be. I just wish it was more polished. And all you console people, I feel sorry for you, but hey, you know what? Maybe buy a PC. I had to get that shot in there.
No, I agree. Just because Xbox won a console fucking thing for our thing doesn't mean you're better than PC.
Well, if you're trying to play Cyberpunk
Fucker.
on the original Xbox One or PS4, like, come on, those came out in 2013. Get over yourself.
Use your brain, idiot. I mean, what?
The funniest thing, though, I saw was, you know how they released that special edition Xbox One X for Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
And they said, if you think you're useless, just think there's an Xbox One X themed Cyberpunk console that can't run Cyberpunk. And I thought that was pretty funny. But old gen hardware can't run the game for a reason. It's old gen. So let us know your guys' winners for game of the year and all our categories. I don't know what we'll be having next. Is next week the 1st?
No.
No, we still got one more podcast?
I believe. Isn't it today's 22nd?
Oh yeah, we got one more podcast.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we got
no. That'll be the podcast with our first face cams.
Technically speaking, we could do one on the 30th. Because that's a week from now. Because we do them every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But the next one out would be it would come out on 1st.
Yeah, so next week you'll have our faces to be shown to you.
Assuming Damien has his face cam, so you'll know real
I'll have
fucking
it, hopefully.
quick.
If you see us like this, I don't have it. And if you see our faces, well, I'll go ahead and apologize, and hopefully get this thing rolling.
I'm gonna have to actually clean myself up and look good.
I'm just throwing on a hat. I mean, I always wear a hat, but I'll just throw on. I'll have pants on, I guess is the way.
I'll have to. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll have to wear clothes, and I'll have to like.
I can't just sit here butt ass naked.
All right.
Alrighty, guys.
Nothing's better than sitting here naked arguing with my friend. Yeah.
Right.
You know. Woo.
Well, thank you guys for another great year of podcasting. We've grown a lot. Actually, it's kind of scary. So here's to another year, and we will see you guys. Oh, I get to make the joke. You ready? We'll see you guys next year.
Fucking cringe.
Next week we're gonna review The Mandalorian, the whole season. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
I should probably watch it then.
What?
I'm kidding.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next year.
Bye, guys.